roll call. Sorry. It's right there.
Brian Treppa absent. Samantha.
Here.
Joe Bosey.
Here.
Maureen's not here. Dennis Szymanski not here. Deborah Addy here. Bonnie?
Here. Approval or amendments to the agenda? If not,
Approve it.
motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to read the Zoning Board of Appeals preface. What?
Approve
Oh.
the minutes.
Told you I was in a hurry. Approval of the minutes from October 19th, 2022. Okay, get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining. I wasn't here. Thank you.
There's still enough to approve it.
Okay, good.
Okay, now I'll do the Zoning Board of Appeals preface. The Clay Township Zoning Board of Appeals primarily addresses practical difficulty based on lot size, location, shape or contour, or location of existing buildings. We are guided by section 2705 of ordinance 126. There are 5 members on the ZBA. 3 members constitute a quorum. I will note that we only have 4 members tonight, so you do always have the option of waiting and putting it off a month until there are 5 members. So you have to make that decision. Each appeal before the ZBA will have a public hearing, at which time the appellant will first present his or her case, and then any public comment regarding that issue will follow. During this time, members of the board may ask questions of clarification. If a particular point gets belabored, the chairman has the right to limit comments. When the public hearing is closed, the board will move on to the deliberation phase of the case before us. If the appellant should disagree with the board's decision, he or she has the right to take it to circuit court within 30 days of the decision. When your appeal hearing has concluded, you are welcome to stay or leave. So our first case is JZBA 2022-020-10082 St. John. So if the applicant would like to approach and explain what you're looking for and what your practical difficulty is, yes, and give your name also, please.
My name is David Tacanelli. I live at 10082 St. John Drive, of course in Clay Township. Like my last community, I'm new to the area here and lived in Bruce Township for 21 years before coming here. We're excited to be here, and I was a model citizen there, and I hope to show the community that we are a respectful family and will be productive in the community here as well. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here and allowing us citizens to listen into what we're trying to do to improve our properties as well as the communities. And so thank you for your time. I called yesterday just to make sure that I was prepared and asked if I needed to bring anything for you folks to view. As she said, no, you guys had site plans and the drawings that I had provided at the time that I applied for the variance. I brought a couple extra copies here that you guys can view of the area that is in question.
That's fine.
So at this point, obviously there's no neighbors on the other side. And it's quite open. I recently got a permit that was approved for the hot tub, and in having it there and using it a little bit now, we've kind of discovered that everybody that drives by either toots their horn and waves, or so we'd like to have some privacy. I want to do it right. I want it to make it to look nice for both myself, my family, and the neighboring neighbors who eventually will come in. People on the boats coming down the canal, it's got to look nice for them too. This is how Tacanelli's roll. We try to be respectful to all. In doing so, I was gonna put a privacy fence up. That would have been the simplest, easy solution. The privacy fences are usually made out of wood or plastic, and the weather and time, they just don't have a very nice appeal. I'm sure I could still do that if needed. Arborvitae's or some sort of vegetation was an alternative idea, probably a better idea because of aesthetics. But the problem with when you put arborvitae's, and I'm not going to mention homes in particular, but drive around, you can look and see neighboring properties have arborvitae's that are 16 feet tall and they're 4 feet wide now, therefore encroaching onto each neighbor's property. And, you know, they host a variety of bugs and birds and bees, and the snow freezes on them, because I've had them. We may have all had arborvitae's, and they tend to break the branches down. So I didn't particularly care for that idea. I came across the pergola, which I think you all have a photo of. Is that true? Okay. What I liked about the pergola is that it is a semi-transparent privacy. So, you know, it's tight quarters living on the water, and everybody wants the best view they can get, and I respect that, and I'm looking for the same thing myself. So I believe that that would provide a little bit of privacy, yet not be, you know, overbearing in any way. And I thought it would help to detract from the, you know, it's not going to limit or to detract from the natural beauty of living on a canal. I believe in township ordinances, first of all, and they're important to the community, and I fully agree to respectful conformity, always have. However, sometimes permissible alterations can change with times, and that's what I'm referring to with like arborvitae's and things of that nature, wood fences that tend to get dilapidated in time or blow over from the wind. And proper maintenance and appearance of any home is essential in maintaining a good relationship with neighboring homes in all communities. And so with those ideas, I thought I would apply for a variance and see if you folks could agree to that. And as long as all the other neighbors are in compliance as well.
Okay. If you'd like to have a seat, we'll open it up to public comment. Did you want to read the letter, Deb?
Yes.
I know we do have one letter on this one.
Dated October 27th, 2022. Dear Mr. Treppa, I have been a property owner of St. John Drive since the middle 1990s. My grandparents had a cottage on St. John Drive as well. I used to enjoy the river and the rutted-up dirt road as a child. I am now 67 years old and have seen many changes take place in this neighborhood over the years, mostly for the good. With regard to the variance request for 10082 St. John Drive, I have some concerns. The zoning ordinance number 126 was put in place for good reasons, and I am opposed to making an exception in this case. The 3-foot setback rule is very generous, to say the least. The 6-foot maximum privacy fence is also more than adequate, particularly when you factor in water views that we all enjoy. There is another issue that I believe should be considered. At some point, a new home will be built next door to the address in question. That property owner would most certainly be negatively impacted by the changes and would have no recourse. I believe that we as a community have an obligation to be courteous neighbors and find a way to live within the constraints put in place to benefit us all. I am concerned that if an exception to the rule in this case would set an unwanted precedent. Respectfully, James Sanders.
Do we have any other comment from the public? Hearing none, I will close the public comment, but I would ask the building official to come up.
Good evening.
Good evening. Just for clarification, the hot tub has been approved, the pergola has not been installed, correct? Or
I'm not 100% sure on the hot tub, but
Okay.
that can be easily.
Okay. Do you have anything
what-
you wanted to add to
Sure.
this?
What they're requesting, and mind you, I always encourage people to come and talk to me before they come here.
Right,
You know, we do a plan review. These two cases had some issues that couldn't just be approved at my level. But neither of these two cases came into the office to talk with me to see, you know, what options there were or anything else. This is a pergola. If we're calling it what it is, that's what it looks like, is a pergola. But where he wants it is right on the property line. And we also have another little level in here, is that it's an R3, so we got 45-foot setback from that. And I think I'll go with what they say is he's 52.6. So even if we talk about this 12-foot pergola that extends out beyond the house, we're into that required setback also.
right.
So what he's calling for, asking for, is to keep it as presented, and that's right on the property line, and extending outward, possibly into that setback also.
Okay. All right, does anybody else have questions while he's up here?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. So,
Do I have an opportunity to respond to that?
if you could come up for 1 minute, I know I have a question for you. Just to clarify, this pergola would be totally enclosed, so it would be more, no?
No, it's as stated in the photo. If you don't have one, I've got another copy I can show you. It's a 3-sided pergola with an open roof,
Okay,
okay? It's not a shed or a building. It's a little privacy area.
okay,
And that's why I thought that would be suitable
Structure, yeah.
for all. I mean, I respect everyone's comments. I can understand Mr. Sanders' comments because he's one who loves to voice his opinion and is not in favoring of a lot of people in the community. But that's here nor there. As far as the permit, Greg, you did come over to my home, and the only thing that held you back from the permit was I didn't have a lock on the tub. And I did, yeah. So I did put that on. I never did get it.
okay.
Yes, thank you. And as far as the variance, or the, running into the, is it 43 feet, Greg? Or 45? 45? Okay, the house is 52 feet, 52 and a half, I believe. And yes, across the front of the pergola, it is 12 foot, 10 inches.
Right.
Okay? But that's on a diagonal, okay? That will not come from the house 12 feet out. It'll come out 7 foot, 8 inches. So if you take 7 foot, 8 inches from 52, I'm in compliance.
Okay.
So really, the only factor is, it's really, in my opinion, not a structure, and I think it's gonna look better than anything that could go there. The person across the street is voicing an opinion out of spite, let's say. It's not, he has no view, he has no interest in that
No,
other than,
that's-
okay, let's move on, let's go stick with the facts. I apologize for that, but there's an issue there. Well documented with the Township Police Department. And as far as, it's an open roof. So I thought it would enhance the environment. It's not gonna obstruct my view from my house and neighbor's view from their house to the canal because it's within the depth that's necessary.
Does anyone else have questions?
You already have a structure next to this hot tub, right? You already have some other,
I have a gazebo on top
Gazebo.
of that I applied for.
you have a
They told me-
gazebo on this deck also, right?
Correct.
Is there, I mean, the property line, I mean, if like somebody does come in the next time, how are you gonna like trim around that if you're, and not be on their property?
Same way you would do if you're on if you had a privacy fence, which is on the property line. I mean, for me, it's easier because from both sides, if you look at the bottom of the structure, it's open, it's semi-transparent throughout because there's panels of metal that are quite ornate, and yet you can see through it. It's not completely, that's why I referred to it as semi-transparent.
Right. Okay.
I think would be attractive from both sides, easy to maintain from both sides.
All right. Anybody else, or do you guys want to discuss?
What about the piece of property makes it difficult for you to conform to the ordinance?
What makes it difficult to conform? The layout. I feel like, if it's permissible to put a fence there or other items that I had mentioned prior, I think this is, it's all subjective, I understand, but I truly think, and I don't think anyone could really disagree, that it's going to look better over a period of time.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to have a seat if we have any other questions. as
Thank
well.
you.
Gary, would a 6-foot fence be permissible right on the property line there?
Privacy fence would be permissible up to the 45-foot mark.
Okay. All right. I guess I will start. My opinion is, while I think it would look beautiful, I'm having a hard time finding the practical difficulty, especially for the height and the setback. I mean, if anybody can come up with something, I'm willing to listen, but I can't.
No, I don't see it either, and like I said, when he had that other structure on his deck, it's just like kind of trying to extend everything out, then there's no really difficulty on the lot, because it's just
Right.
everything straight.
I mean, to me, if we didn't have to follow the standards and it was just one of those, yeah, it'll look nice and it would be great, then I would say, wonderful, go ahead, but I just am having a hard time even getting past practical difficulty.
The criteria that was read earlier, we have to adhere to in order to give you a variance. And that's the practical difficulty, a unique situation. It's not self-created, and you would get substantial justice like everyone else in the neighborhood, and it's not contrary to the ordinance.
And this is
And
substantially contrary to the ordinance,
the
especially the
practical
height.
difficulty is, it's not there. It'll look beautiful, no question about it. But as a board, that's what we have to work with.
I understand. That's why I'm here presenting my case in hopes that you could see it and it would open up. Maybe sometimes you look through blinders, open up those blinders a little bit and look around. The other part is I feel like, I'm paying taxes on the property, I know I'm within reason, I'd like to be able to utilize the property because you don't have a lot of property to use. I just thought it would be nice to put a little, fireplace or something in there alongside the gazebo, and I thought it would be very nice. But if you guys don't agree with that, then that's the case. I can't argue that.
So there's actually 2 variances requested, one for the fence and one for the setbacks. So if someone is ready to make a motion, make sure that both are mentioned in the motion. 'Cause I cannot make a motion as chairperson tonight.
Is the second part on Gary's summary here? I don't see it.
Well, what was noticed in the paper is
Oh, thank you.
minimum 3-foot side setback for accessory structure, also requesting a variance of 1 foot 6 inches for the height of the pergola. Note, the minimum or maximum height of a privacy fence is 6 foot and pergola height is 7.6. So it's both the 3 foot setback and the height of the pergola.
Yeah, thinking of a semi-transparent versus a solid wood fence, I thought it would enable more visibility from the neighbor than a privacy fence or arborvitae's that want to grow 16 feet tall in time.
Right.
You
And
know,
like I
so
said, while we,
had I known-
actually, if you could come up to the microphone if you want to talk.
In all due respect to the building inspector, had I known I had that opportunity, I certainly would have exercised that before wasting your people's time and spending the money to get the variance. I didn't know that that was an option when I called Cindy. You know, this is what she said that I should do. And I just followed protocol and,
I don't think that's gonna help, in my opinion. I think they can do that after.
Okay.
So did you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny. I don't see practical difficulty in this side setback, the 3 foot. And the variance height for the pergola, 1.6 inches. The pergola is supposed to be 7.6. And I think that that doesn't meet practical difficulty either. I think it would look beautiful. But again, we have to deal with our facts about this ordinance.
Do I have a second for the motion?
I'll second it.
Roll call,
Roll call.
please.
Let's see. Samantha?
Yes to deny.
Joe Bosey?
Yes.
Deborah Addy, yes. Bonnie?
Yes. So I would recommend that you get with the building official and see if you can come up with another solution that will work.
anybody want to buy a pergola?
Maybe
Well,
you can
thank
put
you
it
all for-
somewhere else on your property, I don't know. You can cut it down.
Yeah, that was the least, the place that it would have fit where it wouldn't have been obstructing views for anyone or ourselves, but if I can't do it, I can't do it. I thank you all for your time.
Thank you. You give us just a minute, we'll get to your case. I'm terrible at spelling.
I know, me too. Spell check.
On the first one?
On the next case,
Oh, okay.
the agenda has the wrong case number.
So it should be 022.
It should be 2022-02.
Okay. I'm just gonna put Marshall Road on mine.
Are you guys doing each of these even if it's a denial?
You don't have to.
Okay.
They're mostly for us to kind of talk through.
I gotcha. Okay.
And I've been taking notes on mine for some of the more challenging ones where
Gotcha.
we try and keep track.
Okay.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Okay, all right.
All right, so our next case is JZBA 2022-021, 8910 Marsh Road application. If the applicants would like to come up and present what they are looking for and what their practical difficulty is.
I'm Brian Gillard, live at 8910 Marsh Road. I'd like to put my pole barn straight from my drive, and it's where I've got it laid out is 11 feet instead of the 20 feet because I have 5 acres. But the way the house is there in the middle, and it would be pull in and go toward the back, towards the back of my house, and I have a beautiful pond out there, and it would obstruct my view. But at the same time, this would not obstruct anybody else's view of anything next.
Is the
I would
pond
say-
creating the practical difficulty, or is there somewhere else you could put it on your property that
Well,
you
yes,
would not need a variance for?
that is the practical difficulty. I have a couple pictures there.
Yeah. Oh,
But I can't go any further back because of that. So it's the perfect, the only spot I have really. I can't put it in front of the house.
okay. All right, if you'd like to have a seat, we'll probably call you back up for some more
Okay.
questions. Gary, did you want to come up? Did you have anything you wanted to add to this one? This has not been built already, correct?
No.
Okay.
Like I say, I wish you would have come in and talked to me ahead of time. And, because there's a lot of different issues here, and all I think, could have been resolved. Obviously, they want to be 11 feet away. We're in 2+ acres. There's pros and cons to accessory structures under 2 acres and over 2 acres. Obviously, over 2 acres, you can build a 2,700 square foot barn on the property. You can also build it higher than the 15-foot mean height. But part of that is when you've got the big lots, everyone wants that elbow room, and nobody wants a 2,700 square foot building 11 feet away when our minimums are 20. They are basically 28 feet back according to their survey, or their site plan, I should say. They're 28 feet back from the house. So to me, it can be moved over to the 20 and comply with the ordinance.
Okay,
And I don't think it, he wants to be 10 feet away from the house to have a 10-foot clearance sideways, but he's still 28 feet back. So,
okay, thank you.
What about the house, the house that's already been there, the driveway's in line, isn't it? That he's saying 11 feet?
it's a side drive, garage. So the drive comes up and then turns into their current garage. So, yeah, I don't know what is there right now as far as the driveway. But even moving it over another 9 feet still allows them to basically pull straight into that barn and not have to curl behind the house. It'll still be, sideways of the house.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
I will open it to any other public comment. I don't think we had any letters on this
I don't
one.
see anything.
I guess my thought might be on this one to table it, allow them to go talk to Gary and see if they can work something out in the meantime and come back next month. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on that.
No, I
And
think if
they
there's
might not
another
have to come
alternative,
back.
they should.
Right.
They can work it out. Yeah, I agree with you. Totally.
What is-
We don't wanna put it in the middle of our yard. We move it over there to 10 feet. We have a pool. We like to socialize. We have 5 acres. It's kind of like a little cubby where it's at. There's a house over on the, coming in the driveway. We have
What is your name, ma'am?
Candace Gillard. There's a house on the
I just don't see if there are other ways of doing it, the practical difficulties, so I guess in my mind, my thought, again, is table it, let them try and work it out with the building official, and bring it back if they're unable to, but if anybody else has a different opinion.
I agree with you.
I agree.
He says he has a pond there, I think.
The pond's right in the back.
Right, I can't,
But I think it would be helpful for Gary to go out first and look and see what they can come up with that might be within the ordinance, because, again, this is one of those ones where it's kind of hard to find a practical difficulty.
Did they see the pictures of the other pole barn? The old
Yeah.
neighbors?
We take each case individually, we don't look at what neighbors have.
They're on this property line, so they're not gonna be
I wouldn't say having a pond is a unique situation.
Not when there's that much property. So, if someone would like to make a motion,
I'll make a motion to table it.
Second.
roll call.
Excuse me. Joe Bosey.
and figure out something that works out.
Yes.
well, it was the lean-to, too.
Samantha.
Yes.
Debbie, Eddie, yes. Bonnie.
Yes. So, talk to the building official, and if you can't work something out, you can come back to us next month or when our next meeting is. I'm not sure how it's gonna work with Christmas and all of that,
Do
so,
we have to pay again? Come back?
No.
over here? No.
because we tabled it.
Okay.
That is correct, right?
Okay, that's it, okay.
That's it.
Want your pictures?
Here's your,
Pictures? You sure? Yeah, I would take them.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have any unfinished business? I don't believe that we do. When you're done writing, do we have a report from the planning commission?
They canceled the last meeting.
Okay,
It was a week ago. They moved it, as a, and I was gonna backtrack on the meeting before that, but I didn't know if I was there or not. So,
okay. So we have no report from the planning commission representative this evening.
yes, because they canceled it.
Any other matters to be reviewed by the zoning board of appeals? If not, I will open it to general public comments. Seeing no public, I will close public comment. So just a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, thank you.